All right. Let's see if anybody shows up today. I'm going to talk all things DC. All right. Today, I figured what I was going to do is instead of doing a normal DC update for the week, I would try a new live stream because I have upgraded my equipment here and I should be able to get a decent live stream. And we'll see how this turns out when I do the replay later. But I figured I would go ahead and do this live stream here and talk about some of the information that came out this week. So I will be pulling some stuff up on my computer while we go through this live stream to talk about. But I seem to be getting, looks like everything is running smoothly. So I ended up getting a new Mac Mini with 16 gigabytes of RAM, and it is an M1 chip. So I got the new M1 chip. You know, being a voice actor, I wanted to get more modern tech, and it's going to help out with my videos, the live streams, and my voiceover work. So it was a win all the way around. All right, so let's see if anybody shows up. All right, so while I'm waiting for people to possibly show up, and I didn't let anybody know that this was going to happen, I just decided to do this at the last minute for my update for the week. But I'm going to try and pull up some of the information that I found. So the first thing I want to talk about is the Batman movie with Robert Pattinson that does come out in March of next year. The studio did just release the synopsis for the film. So let's see what it says. Let's do the Batman official synopsis. This actually came out today from Warner Brothers, and let's see what it says. Well, the short thing says the Riddler plays a dangerous game of cat and mouse with Batman and Commissioner Gordon in Gotham City. There was definitely more to it. Let's see what this says here. I read the whole thing earlier, and I should have saved it. But let's see here. Here it is. All right, let's see. Okay. So, here is the official synopsis from Warner Brothers themselves. It says, The Batman is an edgy, action-packed thriller that depicts Batman in his early years, struggling to balance rage with righteousness as he investigates a disturbing mystery that has terrorized Gotham. Robert Pattinson delivers a raw, intense portrayal of Batman as a disillusioned, desperate vigilante, awakened by the realization that the anger consuming him makes him no better than the ruthless serial killer he's hunting. That would explain some of the violence that we did see in the original trailer, where he was beating that thug in the alleyway there. So we will see what that's all about when the movie comes out. So that's the first thing that I wanted to talk about today. And then so that's the definitive news. That's not speculation. That is something that was actually released by the studio this week. And so it's real. It is absolutely real. What I want to talk about next, and this is interesting, the directors of New Gods, or the director who is going to do it. So let's see if I can pull this up. They talked about why the movie was canceled. There was a lot of speculation about this week. So it was canceled, and back, I did a video about this not that long ago. And, so Ava DuVernay. I don't know how you say the last name. DuVernay, I guess. Ava DuVernay. She came out and said the reason why the movie got canceled was because of Zack Snyder releasing his Justice League movie on HBO Max. And I talked about this in a previous video where I said that there are one of two reasons as to why you would have them cancel this movie. And I said, number one, either he did such a good job with his movie that they will never be able to live up to it. And I'm going to start calling this the Game of Thrones effect. That's what I'm going to start calling it. The Game of Thrones effect, where you had Game of Thrones on TV, which put all other TV shows just to shame with the production value and what it was. And now anything that's in the fantasy realm that comes out that doesn't live up to those standards is going to be considered cheap. And so I said one of the reasons why New Gods may have been canceled is because of what Zack Snyder did in his Justice League with Darkseid, and just doing an amazing job with the build of the character, the look of the character, and just the fierceness of the character. And that if they were going to do New Gods, then they would never be able to live up to what he started, because the studio has sworn up and down that Zack Snyder's Justice League is not canon, and that his vision is done. That there would be, we've got Marco Zolo here says New Gods will be back after the Discovery merger, which may happen. But here's my speculation on it. And so, like I said, one of the reasons why is because it was just going to be, I'm going to start calling it the Game of Thrones effect, where they would have never been able to do something that would live up to what Zack Snyder created. The only other reason why they would cancel it is because Zack Snyder's Justice League will be considered canon down the line, and they needed to rethink it and retool it to be more in line with what he did. So it's one or the other. And I believe that the reason why New Gods was canceled was because Zack Snyder is going to be continuing his version of what he created when the Discovery merger happens. And we're going to go from there. And so he will be able to finish what he started. And that's what I believe. Because why else would they cancel it? The director directly said it was because he released his version on HBO Max. And if it's not canon, why does it matter? So I honestly think that means it is definitely canon. So that's the second thing that I wanted to kind of bring up this week. And outside of that, outside of the two things I just talked about, that and also the Batman, there really hasn't been a whole lot of information out there this week, which is interesting. It has been very quiet DC-wise, and I was going to do, like I said, a normal video this week, but I decided that I was going to change that up this week and try a live stream because I did update my equipment. So those who are just, coming in now, it's because I tried a live stream a few weeks ago and it just didn't come out real well, and I was running off of a 2014 Mac Mini, which I've been using for my voiceover career for the last 6 years, and it just was not, it didn't have enough power to do the live streams. So I got a new Mac Mini with the M1 chip in it, which is freaking awesome. So it is very fast, very powerful, and it's going to allow me to do live streams once in a while. I do plan on setting up a time where I will do live streams, and I'll set up days and times, and people will know ahead of time before I do those live streams. All right, so let's see here. Hunter Iggy says, have you heard that David Zaslav and Jim Lee asked Jim Lee what DCEU character he would like to see in the movie or series in the show, and said, I want to develop a Grifter series. I did not see that. That is something I did want to bring up, though. Somebody had asked, not David Zaslav or Jim Lee, but somebody had asked Zack Snyder, some of the characters he would like to see if he had continued his vision in the Batman universe, and he did reveal some of that. So the Dork Knight 23 says, between Zack Snyder's Justice League and Eternals not being well received, I believe New Gods won't happen. And it's a shame that Warner Brothers threw Zack Snyder's Justice League as an excuse to cancel it. Well, if you're just joining me, I gave a reason for that. There were two possible reasons why it was canceled. One is that they would never be able to live up to the quality of what Zack Snyder did, which I don't believe to be the case. I think that the only other reason is, they swore up and down that Zack Snyder's Justice League was a cul-de-sac and wasn't going to lead anywhere, and that it was not canon. So why would you cancel something if it wasn't canon? They said there was a direct conflict there. So I believe they canceled it because Zack Snyder will be able to continue his version. It wasn't going to mesh with what they had planned. And a lot of the stuff that was planned, I can tell you right now, a lot of the stuff that was planned with Warner Brothers has been scrapped until they do have this merger, which can't come fast enough with Discovery. And we're going to find out quickly once that merger happens what is going to benefit the viewers, if it's going to benefit the viewers or not. So we're going to see if they're listening. But everything that David Zaslav has said, and I don't even know if I'm saying his name right, but everything he said does point to the fact that, yes, they should be restoring the universe. Ava DuVernay rewrote Zack's script of New Gods, totally disconnecting it from the Snyderverse. Right. And that's exactly why I think the reason they canceled it was because it doesn't mesh with his. But again, that goes back to what I said. If they said Zack Snyder's Justice League is not canon, why would it matter? They should have continued with it. So the fact that they canceled it tells me they do have plans with Zack coming down the line. Yeah, I don't know if a Stormwatch or a Wildcat series would hit the mainstream the way people might think it would. I got to be honest, as a massive DC fan, what I want to see announced right now is Man of Steel 2. I can tell you right now that if Warner Brothers or Discovery comes out and announces Man of Steel 2, it will be unlike a firestorm that the internet has ever seen for a movie. I think it would break headlines and records. It would be a shockwave across the internet and across social media. That would be one of the most incredible things that they could possibly do. And so I want Man of Steel 2, and I want to see the live-action Batman movie that was planned. Everyone who is attached with that script said it was amazing and would have been the most amazing live-action Batman movie ever created. All right, so we've got someone on here. Are you excited for The Flash? Is it going to reset the DCEU? I do not believe that The Flash is going to actually reboot the DCEU or reset it, because a lot of people, I'm going to talk about something that people speculated on, which is absolutely wrong. In the little teaser that they gave for The Flash, which was not a trailer, they just took some random scenes from the movie, you could see a cowl on the ground with blood on it, and everyone said, oh, it's proof that they're going to kill off Ben Affleck. That was not Ben Affleck's cowl. When you actually see it in the trailer, you can see more points of where it connects on the suit, which is clearly Michael Keaton's suit. And behind that, you could actually see the raised symbol on Michael Keaton's suit in the back in that trailer. So it was definitely not Ben Affleck's. Now, one thing that has been released over the last couple of weeks is they said Ben Affleck's role in The Flash is much bigger and much more integrated than it was first expected to be. So I know Ben Affleck did come in and make them rewrite the script to meet some of his needs if he was going to come back, and I know that the director did oblige that. So I don't think it would be smart for them to reset the DCEU, get rid of Ben Affleck. That is not the route they want to go at this stage. We have had HBO Max, the president did admit that Zack Snyder's Justice League was a global phenomenon. That is actually true. When they were promoting HBO Max, there's an actual video out there. And so they do know that it was a success. So I don't see any reason why Discovery would not continue with that once the merger happens. I think it would be absolute suicide right now for the DCEU in general to kill off or reset what Zack Snyder started. Yes, I agree. If they, after the merger, after 10 years, a 10-year anniversary, but I think it's been 7 years, hasn't it? I can't remember exactly when Man of Steel came out, but I don't think we're near the 10-year mark just quite yet. Yeah, so you said in 2023. Yeah, I don't think they're going to wait till 2023. I really think that when the merger actually happens, David has said that they already have a plan. They know what they're going to be doing going forward. And I think they're going to hit the ground running, which will be awesome. So, yeah, I'm really looking forward to what is going to happen with Discovery. And like I said, once it happens, we're going to know pretty quickly whether they're going to hold on to the fans or not. But David has specifically said that they're going to listen to the fans, that that's their number one priority. Well, the number one priority goes back to them mending the relationship with the directors and the studios and the actual actors. And then, to get rid of the toxicity. And then the second thing was that they're going to listen to the fans, that their number one priority to make money is to listen to what the fans want. I think the blood on Keaton's cowl is more of a nod to the Batman Beyond and moving him that direction and less about foreshadowing Affleck's Batman's death. Well, yeah, it would not foreshadow Affleck's death at all because it's not Affleck's suit. Like I said, I think it would be suicide for them to kill Ben Affleck's character off. And the fact that Ben Affleck came back after filming and said, I loved my time on The Flash, as opposed to what happened with the reshoots with Zack Snyder's Justice, well, not a reshoot of Zack Snyder's Justice League, just the reshoot of Justice League, that for him to come out and say he had a great time, he never made comments about like that in any other situation in the past. So that's a positive sign. So, yeah, like I said, it has been pretty quiet over the last week since I did my last update, and I figured I'd try. You guys tell me. Someone make a comment here. How's the video coming out? Is it smooth? I should have it at 60 frames a second here at 1080p. Yeah, you're right. Someone says Harry Lennox, Martian Manhunter with Cavill, Superman versus Brainiac for Man of Steel would be straight up fire. Yeah, it would. It absolutely would. Those characters were brought in for a reason. And I think there is a plan going forward. I fully believe that. And you have to understand the way contracts work. You have Cavill has not come out and said anything. He has been completely silent. You have Ben Affleck. The only thing he said is he enjoyed coming back as Batman. Outside of that, these guys have not said anything. And if that's the case, they are still under contract. When you're under contract, you can't say stuff. Good. I'm glad it's smooth. I won't be able to tell until this is all done and I put it back, and finish it up and post it so that it can be watched later. All right, what else do you guys want to talk about? I'll stick around. I'll probably stick around until we hit the 30-minute mark here, and then I'll call it a week because, like I said, other than the things I've already talked about, it's been a pretty slow DCEU week for sure. All right, it's smooth. The video's great. That's good to know. Yeah, because it was, my thing does say excellent connection, but I don't get to see what it actually looks like here. All right. What do you guys think is going to happen when the merger with Discovery takes place? Who thinks it's going to be a disaster for the fans, and who thinks it's going to be something amazing? What do you guys think? Yay. What time is it for you guys? Where are you guys located? I'd be interested to see where everybody's at. I'm actually in Arizona in the U.S. I have no idea where everyone is actually chiming in from. It'd be interesting to see where everybody's at. That's what I love about YouTube. Anybody from all over the world can communicate. It's pretty neat. It's pretty neat how social media has made the world a smaller place. India, 8 a.m. I take it that is November 5th, Friday, November 5th. I don't think the rest of the world is behind us. I think the rest of the world is ahead of us. I think it almost ends with us. Is that correct? No, I did not talk about Zaslav bringing in a Disney Plus guy to help with the relaunch. I did not. I read something today where somebody's in L.A., so you're on the same time as me. So the Disney Plus, I read something today where they said they're going to be offering, with the merger, it's going to be HBO Max and Discovery will merge. And didn't read the details on that. I haven't had a whole lot of extra time today to look into what that was all about. But I do know that the wheels are spinning. They have a plan. They know what they're going to do. So it would not surprise me. Disney Plus, and I'm eventually going to do a video about Disney Plus on my channel. I have a little playlist where I talk about cutting the cord. I'm kind of an expert on cutting the cord. And I love Disney Plus, but Disney Plus is awesome for all of the older stuff that they have available on their streaming service, stuff you've never been able to get physically on physical media or anywhere else. And so I love Disney Plus for that. But the one area where Disney Plus really fails and lacks is in the fact that they don't have their old cartoons on there. All of the things that made Disney what it is and brought them up to fame, and all those old Mickey Mouse cartoons, Donald Duck cartoons, Chip and Dale cartoons, Goofy, all the ones that they released on DVD and those special box sets, and I own quite a few of those. None of those cartoons are available on the Disney Plus service, which is disappointing. It's the one major fault of Disney Plus. But other than that, I do very much like their interface. So I don't know why they would bring a guy from Disney Plus on unless they're going to redesign the way it looks, because HBO Max is not the best designed looking app. But Discovery Plus, I like their app a lot. In fact, my Cutting the Cord channel, I talk about Discovery Plus. It's my favorite streaming app because it doesn't have any, scripted TV shows on it. It's all stuff, real stuff, that documentaries and things like that. And they have like 22 different channels available on Discovery Plus, and you can just go in, and it's a lot of stuff that's currently airing on cable and satellite, and you can go in and watch these things the next day, which is pretty freaking cool. So I really like the Discovery Plus app as it is. It'll be interesting to see when they merge the two what's going to happen, or if they're going to offer it in a bundle. All right, what else do you guys want to talk about? I'm going to stick around here for just a few more minutes. I'll stick around for about 8 more minutes here, and then I'll call it a day. I'm thinking about possibly doing a live stream every Sunday at a designated time and just have everybody come on and we can talk about the different things that are going on. I think the next live stream I'm going to do is see if I can use YouTube itself, as I'm using OBS right now. Yeah, Warner Max. I don't like HBO Max. With it being Warner Brothers, I've never understood why they called it HBO Max. It doesn't make any sense. Warner Max would make more sense. I'm curious to see what they're going to come up with. It'll be interesting. HBO Max never resonated with me. I have all the streaming services, so HBO Max I actually watch quite a bit, because I've never seen stuff like, I never watched Sopranos, so I'm in the middle of watching that. I never watched The Wire. I watched the first season. I got to watch the other seasons. Again, I like it because it has old stuff on there. Plus, there's a lot of new things I haven't watched yet. There's only so much time in one day, and I'm more of a DC fan than anything else. All right. This is pretty crazy. Two viewers right now. That's it. 2 viewers. We'll see how many people watch this after I post it. I have not watched Black Mirror. Now, someone asked, have you watched Black Mirror show? I have not watched Black Mirror. Tell me if I'm wrong, but is that anthology show where every episode is something different? And somebody asked, somebody said, just finished The Sopranos. Awesome. Yeah, The Sopranos, I hope it gets better. Yeah, it is. What's funny about Black Mirror is I actually watched something from the last season. I brought it up on one of the streaming apps. I think it was on Netflix. This was probably about 3 years ago. And I the way they had it listed, they had the newest stuff listed first and not the older stuff. And I went into one and watched an episode that it had to do with somebody in an office. And it didn't make a whole lot of sense. And I found out I was watching it out of order. And I don't know if that's something you need to watch in order or not. But Black Mirror, it's something I want to go back to. I love anthology shows. I love stuff like Creepshow, Tales from the Crypt, stuff like The Twilight Zone. We don't have enough shows. We don't have very many shows where they do anthology stuff. I love those half an hour and you're done type things. Sopranos, I didn't care a whole lot for the first season. I didn't think it was that engaging. And then you have to think about when it was released. So I am looking forward to watching the rest of The Sopranos. I'm 3 episodes into season 2. It is already better than season 1. I just hope it gets even better because same with The Wire. Season 1, it didn't grab me. And I'm wondering why people call it the greatest show that's ever been on TV. All right. What time is it here? All right, so I'm going to be on for about 4 more minutes. Yeah, the concept of each episode is mind-blowing. Yeah, now are those episodes all connected? Like, do you have to watch it from the beginning, or is it just that each episode, this is in regards to Black Mirror, or is each episode just its own standalone thing? Yeah, I remember one episode I remember watching was these people, like, were in a... Good. So they're season 1 is dated, but it gets going. Good. Okay, so Sopranos does get better over time. Good, the shows are not, you can watch it anywhere. Good, that's what I thought. Yeah, I remember watching one episode where these people, it was like everyone was, you had to be famous to get credits. And everyone was like a worker bee, and you had to, your life was just living in a little room, and you had to go on exercise equipment. And, those were the worker bees. And then other people were more famous, kind of doing, stuff like live streams and stuff like that. It was kind of weird. It's kind of a scary thought. Makes you wonder what's going to happen in the future. Yeah, I recommend watching from season 3 to season 5. Yeah, I may do that. I think when I watched it, it was in season 3. And then season 1 and 2. Cool. Yeah, I may do that. I got to go back and watch that. I love anthology stuff. Love it, love it, love it. We don't have enough of that stuff. All right, real quick, what do you guys think of the Titans TV show? Has anybody been watching Titans season 3? I'm only like 4 or 5 episodes in, and I'm not liking it. I really think the writing is juvenile. I think it's terrible. I can't believe they took this iconic story of a death in the family and did what they did with it. It just, I'm having a hard time going back to it. And I've actually honestly been doing Dexter reviews, getting recaps, getting ready for Dexter season 9, which starts next week, and all my time has been working on getting that done. Luckily, I'm finished with that. But you like Titan season 3? Yeah, I got to tell you, 5 episodes in, I really despise it. Because I grew up reading, a death in the family storyline. That's actually when I started collecting DC Comics, was 426, 427, 428, and 429. I actually found them at like a half-price bookstore, and the first 2 issues of A Death in the Family were available, and the other 2 hadn't been released yet. So somebody had just bought them and brought them into this used bookstore place. Sucker Punch Director's Cut. I haven't seen anything about them talking about Sucker Punch Director's Cut. The one that was released wasn't his. I didn't know Zack Snyder had planned a director's cut on that. The only director's cut I know that's coming out is Rocky IV here on the 11th, which is going to be really cool. I'm looking forward to the Rocky IV director's cut. So Titan season 3, tell me it gets better after, please tell me it gets better after the first 5 or 6 episodes, because I got to tell you, just the lack of imagination on telling that story and just the cheap way in which they did it really was really, really annoying. And the first 2 seasons barely held on. It's the writing is the issue with Titans. It's not the production value. It's got amazing production values. It's just not a coherently written show. It's just very, very lackluster in the storytelling, without question. What do you mean? Okay, so someone said, I promise you can bail on Titan Season 3 if you're not a fan. Well, I'm a fan of the production value and the world they've created, but I'm not a fan of the way they've been telling the stories. The first 2 seasons were just all over the place. They can't tell a coherent story. And it's been really bad in season 3. Like just how they killed Jason off, it was just, there was no thought involved. They're like, yeah, just let's have the Joker lure him out there and just beat him to death. And there was no thought involved. They just had it happen. It's just terrible. They rushed the story. They could have taken several seasons to tell the whole story and do it justice. Yeah, the writing is extremely weak. There is no question about it. I just want it to get better. But like I said, the production value on Titans is just off the wall. It does remind me a lot of Game of Thrones on how well the production value is, how high it is for a superhero show, but just the writing, holy crap, is it bad. Really? So someone said the last episode was my least favorite episode. Well, that doesn't bode well. Because, yeah, it's kind of like the last episode of season 2. I don't know why Superboy didn't save what's-her-face who died, but I know they're going to bring that character back. I mean, that's the whole reason they mentioned the Lazarus pits. But I'll tell you, my biggest problem with Titans at the beginning was the Lazarus pit and Scarecrow having access to one. There's no way that Ra's al Ghul would give him access to a Lazarus pit, especially when they're in short supply, and then have some 2-bit henchman bring Jason in there to be revived. It doesn't make any sense. Like, they totally betray the world of Batman with Titans. It's like, it's terrible. It's supposed to be in the world of Batman, but it's far from what it should be. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap it up for today. This was my first full live stream with my new equipment. I wanted to, instead of doing a normal update this week, I figured I'd do this and talk about the few things that have been circling around. So if you're just now coming in, you can go back to the beginning and watch this when it's posted. And I talk about the Batman, the synopsis for the Batman. I talk about New Gods being canceled and the reason behind that. And we talk a little bit about the Discovery merger that's going to be happening middle of next year. All good stuff. Yeah, it makes no sense that Scarecrow got a pit. It's the whole thing. Everything about the writing, it was the most lazy. I've never seen such lazy writing in a show. I just hate the fact that it's such. You can't stop watching because of the production value. It's engaging, but I hate it. I hate the writing. Yeah, it doesn't make sense that Ra's al Ghul would have given one up for that. The whole thing. Not unless they're going to bring him in later and say they're working together to try and take Batman down, but none of that makes any sense. Like, all of it is just, the show is just way out there. It's terrible writing. There's no question about it. All right, I appreciate everybody who has chimed in today. I will definitely be setting up a schedule where I will be doing live updates once a week to come answer people's questions and see what you guys all want to talk about. I do appreciate it, and we will see you guys. I'll be doing an update next week if there's any new information. So we'll see you guys on my normal updates next week. Take care.